Welcome to 5 Points of Articulation, where I review action figures and then articulate 5 points to help you decide if you want to add that figure to your collection. The 5 points I discuss are packaging, presentation, posability, playability, and price. I'm Jason, and if you enjoy my content, please like, share, subscribe, and do all the YouTube rigmarole. This is still a pretty new channel, so it really helps. The new Marvel Legends House of X-Wave is hitting stores, and today we're going to be taking a look at Marvel Girl. Full disclosure, I have not read House of X, although I have heard good things, but either way, I have no attachment to any of these designs, so chances are I'm probably not going to get the rest of this wave. I wanted Marvel Girl for the same reason that most of us do, to put her in with more retro era figures. But who knows, maybe I'll enjoy her so much that I'm going to want to run out and get the rest of them. Only one way to find out. Let's take her over to the review station and dig in. Starting off with the packaging, and if you've been watching for a while, you know that I like Marvel Legends boxes, but I have to say, I think that Hasbro really knocked it out of the park. The X is just slightly off-center, but I love the logo, and I love this feature where they write the character's name in Krakoan. Maybe a bit confusing for a kid, but for a collector it's really cool. But you can see her name in English on the side, so it's fine. I also really like this Jean Grey artwork, and you can see the whole picture on the back. Marvel Girl leads her fellow mutants to the island sanctuary of Krakoa in a bid to declare sovereignty from humankind. Ages 4 and up! Mom, what does sovereignty mean? Other figures in the wave include Wolverine, Charles Xavier, Omega Sentinel, Moira McTaggart, Magneto, and Cyclops. Put their pieces together and you can create the Tri-Sentinel. Getting her out of the package, we can see that the backer card tray has her Krakoa name and her picture. This is the first time I can really think of Marvel Legends doing this kind of thing. It's a nice touch. The quality box I know and love, plus a little bit extra for some added pizzazz. For packaging, Marvel Girl gets 1 whole point. Moving on to presentation, and there is a lot to go over. Starting off with the head, the first thing I want to say is that it's very well sculpted. It's a very nice portrait, looks like it could be a real woman, but there are a couple of things that are kind of weird. First things first, there's something weird about the skin under her eyes. There is this puffiness that almost looks like she's having an allergic reaction. I also feel like it would have been better if the eye holes were a little bit bigger and a little bit higher. I think it would just really open her face up and show off her eyebrows better. And then of course we have to talk about this hair. If you look at the artwork on the box, and heck even the digital rendering, it's a much darker, more vivid red. This is more like a SpaghettiOs orange, and it doesn't at all match any of the other Jean Greys we've gotten. And that's not the only way that she comes up short. As we can see, Marvel Girl doesn't even reach 6 inches, making her much smaller than other Jean Grey figures. All that being said, this is a mostly new sculpt. I like the shade of green they chose for the dress and the yellow for her boots and her gloves. I like the little wrinkles that are sculpted in there to make it feel like an actual costume. The texturing on the belt is really nice, and it's also painted pretty cleanly. And as we can see, they just painted the boots over her actual calves. Normally this kind of thing wouldn't bother me, but her legs are bare underneath, so we really need something here to convey that there's a different mass for her boot. Some good things to say and some bad. So I'm going to meet in the middle, and for presentation, give Marvel Girl half a point. Moving on to posability, and there are some good and bad things to say about that too. Marvel Girl's head is on a disc hinge and a ball joint. Normally with a figure like this, all the hair would really get in the way, but it's sculpted just far away enough from the shoulders that if you really try to work it, you actually can get her hair out of the way and moving side to side. For a female figure with this much hair, that's really incredible. Nothing too surprising about her arms though. They come up this far, they spin all the way around, single jointed swivel hinge at the elbow, and also twisty-turny hingy at the wrist. Taking a look at her torso, and one thing that you'll notice that's very different from other female Marvel Legends is that she doesn't have a diaphragm swivel. Instead, she has waist articulation with a dumbbell joint. It twists and turns, it arches back that much, hunches forward that much, and also kind of tilts side to side. I'm going to be honest, I'm really conflicted. On the one hand, I do think the diaphragm joints can sometimes cut up the sculpt in a way that isn't too flattering, but I have seen it done well. Storm, for instance, is a perfect example. I think this is some of the best female torso articulation around. But with this, every time you move her, you get this ugly lip sticking out. And then we get below the belt and she might as well not have any articulation at all. This skirt piece is just so thick, you just can't do anything with her legs. There's a small slit there, but it really doesn't help. That being said, she does have thigh cut, double jointed knees, and all the ankle things. But all of that means very little if all you can do is stand her up straight. For posability, I'm giving Marvel Girl half a point. Moving on to playability, and Marvel Girl comes with these open hands that we've seen a bunch of times. They plug in like so. She also comes with this Krakoan flower, which again, not having read the story, I don't know the significance, but it looks pretty cool. Mine does have a bit of paint slop on it though. Even so, it's not the kind of accessory I'm used to seeing, so it's kind of out of the box and I dig it. Some energy effects would have been nice to go along with her psionic abilities, but I do know that there's only so much room in the budget for each figure, and there is a lot of new tooling here. And there's also the right leg of the Tri-Sentinel, which if I don't complete this wave, I have no idea what I'm going to do with. I do like the metallic purple though. But playability is more than just accessories, it's also about how well your figure plays with others. Here's Marvel Girl alongside the Jim Lee Jean Grey and also the new retro card Gwen Stacy. As you can see, Gwen also has her boots painted on, but for whatever reason it doesn't bother me quite as much as it does with Marvel Girl. I think it might be because this has a sharper contrast. You'll also notice that Gwen has a diaphragm cut rather than a waist swivel. And although both of them have skirts, they're in fact not the same skirt. These do not look like the same woman at all. If anything, this looks like her kid sister. And yet they have the exact same hands, which on this tiny body look just that much more disproportionate. Now you could make an argument that this is supposed to be a younger, more teenage Jean Grey, but that argument doesn't completely work because every Cyclops they've made has been on the same body. And in case you're curious, here's how this Marvel Girl looks with that era Cyclops. And for another more retro look, here she is alongside Charles in a more traditional wheelchair. She can't do much more than just stand around, but at least there are a couple of different X-Men displays you can stand her in. But with nothing to offer but a couple of gigantic hands that we've seen 1,000 times and a flower, Marvel Girl doesn't bring much to the party. For playability, I'm giving Marvel Girl half a point. This leaves us with nothing left to discuss but the price. I may have hemmed and hawed a bit about the accessories, but for $20, I do think it's still a pretty decent value for the money. This is a version of the character that we've been wanting for years. Even if you're not interested in House of X, she is still a must. There are some things I wish they did differently. It's definitely not a home run, but it also definitely isn't a failure. For price, I'm giving Jean 1 whole point for a grand total of 3.5 out of 5. This is a version of Jean Grey I've been wanting for a really long time. So I'd be a liar if I said I wasn't just a little bit disappointed. And I also don't know if I'm going to get any other figures in this wave. Maybe I'll try to read some of House of X and see if I like it and take it from there. Are you going to be getting this figure? And if so, is it more to go with House of X or more for her retro look? Let me know in the comments, and also let me know if you want me to review any other figures in the wave. I'll be back again real soon, but until then, have fun.